People spend too much time looking over their shoulders, comparing themselves to others. You see someone younger than you buying a house, starting a business, traveling the world, and suddenly you think you are behind. But the truth is, your path isn't supposed to look like theirs. What God has lined up for you is for you, not for them. That means their blessings don't take away from yours, and their timing doesn't dictate yours. When you stop focusing on someone else's journey, you start seeing your own steps clearly. Too many people lose their vision because they are distracted by somebody else's highlight reel. They scroll through social media and see success, but they don't see the nights of struggle and doubt behind the pictures. You can't compare your real life to someone's edited version of theirs. Your path is unique because you are unique. You weren't created to blend in. You were created to stand out. That means your story will look different, and sometimes that difference will make you feel like you are behind. But remember this, being different is proof you are on the right track. Nobody makes history by copying somebody else's steps. Think about it. Every successful person who truly made an impact had to walk a path that looked strange to others. People doubted them, laughed at them, and questioned them, but when the results showed up, all those doubts disappeared. The same will happen for you if you keep believing in your own road instead of chasing someone else's. It's easy to look at where you are right now and think you are not doing enough. But that's a trap. The question isn't, am I where they are? The question is, am I moving in the direction I was meant to move? That's the only thing that matters. Stop letting comparison rob you of your joy. You are not late, you are not behind, you are not failing. You are exactly where you need to be to learn what you need for the next step. Your path is being carved with precision, and every step is shaping your future in ways you can't see yet. If you're going to walk this path, you have got to own it. Stop apologizing for being different. Stop explaining why your timeline doesn't look like theirs. Believe in your road, because the blessing waiting at the end of it was handcrafted for you alone. Sometimes you think you are lost because life took you somewhere you didn't plan. You had your future mapped out and suddenly everything went sideways. You thought it was over. But here's the truth. The detour is still part of your journey. The roadblocks, the closed doors, the unexpected turns, they are not mistakes. They are preparing. When you face a detour, you usually feel frustrated. You think, this isn't what I asked for. This isn't how it's supposed to look. But in reality, the lesson you are learning in that detour is the very thing you will need when you finally reach your destination. Without the struggle of the wrong turn, you'd never develop the strength for the right one. Think about times in your life when things didn't go as planned. Maybe you lost a job, missed an opportunity, or had a dream fall apart. At that moment, you thought it was over. But later, you realized that loss redirected you to something greater. That detour saved you from something you weren't ready for or didn't need. Life's detours are often blessings in disguise. You might not see it when you are in the middle of it, but one day you will look back and realize the very thing you cursed was the exact thing that protected you. You were delayed, but you were not denied. The detour slowed you down just enough to keep you aligned with the right timing. Don't get discouraged when things don't go according to your script. Your script isn't the final draft. A bigger author is writing your story, and he knows every twist and turn. What looks like confusion to you is direction in disguise. Trust that nothing you face is wasted. Every rejection, every no, every pause, and every delay is still pushing you forward. The journey isn't supposed to be a straight highway. It's filled with curves and bumps that test your patience and faith. Those curves are what give you wisdom. Those bumps are what give you resilience. When you embrace the detours, you stop panicking about the delays. You realize the destination isn't just about arriving, it's about becoming. And sometimes the only way to become who you need to be is by walking through the unexpected roads you never planned to take. Doubt has a way of screaming in your ear when you are on the verge of something great. It tells you are not qualified, not good enough, not smart enough, not talented enough. It reminds you of every mistake you have made, every time you failed, and every weakness you carry. And if you are not careful, that voice will paralyze you before you even take your first step. Doubt doesn't whisper, it shouts, and it makes sure you hear it loud and clear. Faith, on the other hand, doesn't always come with a shout. It doesn't try to overpower you with volume. Faith shows up as a calm conviction deep inside your spirit. It tells you, you can do this, keep going, don't quit. The problem is most people let the noise of doubt drown out the quiet strength of faith. Faith isn't always the loudest, but it's always the strongest. Every time you try to elevate, doubt will be waiting for you. It will pop up when you are about to take a risk, when you are about to step into something new, or when you are close to achieving what you prayed for. That's not a sign you are going the wrong way. It's confirmation you are moving in the right direction. Doubt never shows up when you are standing still. It only gets loud when you are moving towards something meaningful. Think about it. Doubt doesn't attack people who aren't doing anything with tools. Air lives. If you are stuck in comfort, if you are not chasing growth, if you are not stretching yourself, doubt leaves you alone. But the moment you decide to chase your vision, that voice turns up the volume. Why? Because doubt's only job is to stop you from stepping into what's already yours. Faith requires you to believe even when you can't see the outcome. It's easy to have faith when everything is lined up and makes sense, but true faith is built in the dark. It's when you don't have the answers, when you don't see the resources, when you don't feel qualified, but you move forward anyway. That kind of faith overpowers any doubt, no matter how loud it gets. You have got to make a decision every single day about which voice you are going to listen to. Are you going to let the screams of doubt dictate your actions, or are you going to tune into the quiet, steady assurance of faith? Faith doesn't guarantee the road will be easy, but it guarantees the road will be worth it. And once you start listening to it, doubt begins to lose its grip. The truth is, you can't stop doubt from showing up, but you can choose not to give it authority. You can acknowledge it without letting it control you. You can hear it without letting it guide you. And every time you choose faith over fear, you strengthen your ability to keep walking your path, no matter how loud the noise becomes. Struggles are not proof that you are off track. They are proof that you are on it. Too many people think pain means they have done something wrong, but pain is often the evidence that you are growing. Every difficulty you face is shaping you, chiseling you, and building the foundation you need for what's ahead. You can't expect to step into greatness without carrying the weight of struggle along the way. When you go through hard times, it feels like life is breaking you down, but in reality, life is building you up. Struggles teach you resilience in a way comfort never will. Struggles push you to dig deeper, to discover parts of yourself you didn't know existed. Without them, you'd never develop the strength to handle the blessings waiting for you. You can't carry success with weak shoulders. You need the weight of struggle to build them strong. Think about the times in your life when you thought you couldn't make it through. You were ready to quit, ready to walk away, but you pushed one more time. Looking back, you realized that moment of struggle wasn't the end. It was the turning point. That pain built something in you that no book, no lesson, no speech could ever give. Experience carved it into your character. The truth is, people admire the success, but they don't see the pain that built the road to it. Behind every victory, there's a story of nights spent worrying, moments of failure, and countless struggles that tested faith. You can't skip that part. If you take away the struggle, you take away the strength. If you take away the strength, you take away the story. And if you take away the story, you take away the impact. Every struggle carries a lesson, and the lesson becomes the brick that builds your path. One failure teaches you patience. Another teaches you persistence. A heartbreak teaches you resilience. A closed door teaches you trust. And when you put all those lessons together, you realize your struggles weren't wasted. They were paving the way forward. That's why you shouldn't despise the season of struggle. You may not like it, you may not understand it, but one day you will look back and see how it all connected. The struggle you are in today might be the reason you can handle the blessing tomorrow. Without the storm, you'd never appreciate the calm. Without the pain, you'd never value the joy. So instead of asking, why me, start asking, what is this teaching me? Because every challenge you face is a tool, every difficulty is a lesson, and every struggle is building the very path that will lead you where you are meant to go. One of the biggest mistakes people make is thinking everybody has to understand their vision. You tell your family, you tell your friends, you tell the people closest to you, and when they don't get it, you start questioning yourself. But hear this, your vision wasn't given to them. It was given to you. That means they don't need to see it, they don't need to approve it, and they don't need to agree with it for it to be real. Sometimes people won't see what you see because it's not their job to. They don't have the blueprint you have. They don't carry the dream you carry. They weren't there in the quiet moments when that idea was planted in your spirit. So when you share it and they don't believe, don't take it personally. It doesn't make your vision less true. It just makes it yours. You have got to understand that people can only see through the lens of their own experiences. If their world is small, their faith is small, and their vision is limited, then of course your dream will look too big to them. Don't shrink your calling to fit someone else's eyesight. Their lack of belief is not your problem. Think about how many times great people were doubted before their success showed up. They were laughed at, ignored, dismissed, and even told they were crazy. And then the very people who doubted them later turned around and said, I knew you could do it. That's how it works. Nobody believes until the evidence shows up, and by then it doesn't matter because you believe from the start. When you wait for others to validate your path, you delay your progress. You waste time trying to convince people who were never meant to walk with you in the first place. You don't need cheerleaders when you already have conviction. You don't need everyone's yes when you have already been given your confirmation. That's why it's so important to keep your dream alive even when nobody claps for you. Even when nobody sees the vision, you keep showing up. You keep working. You keep investing in it because you know what's inside of you. You don't need their approval when you have already been given the assignment. Your responsibility is not to convince others. It's to stay faithful to what you have been shown. When the time is right, the results will speak louder than your explanations ever could. Let your work be the proof. Let your persistence be the evidence, and let your belief be stronger than their doubt. The biggest lie people fall for is thinking that chasing their purpose is supposed to feel easy. You think because it's your dream, the road will be smooth, the doors will fly open, and people will line up to support you. But the truth is the path won't be comfortable. It's going to stretch you, it's going to challenge you, and it's going to make you question whether you are strong enough to keep going. That discomfort is not punishment, it's preparation. If you want growth, you have got to get used to being uncomfortable. Muscles don't grow without tension. Diamonds aren't formed without pressure. And purpose isn't fulfilled without trials. Every single step you take on this path will come with resistance. And that resistance is proof that you are being elevated. If it were easy, everybody would do it. But comfort doesn't build champions. Discomfort shows up in all kinds of ways. Sometimes it's financial struggles. Sometimes it's long nights with no sleep. Sometimes as is hearing no when you prayed for a yes. Sometimes it's being misunderstood by people you thought would support you. Every one of those moments will make you feel like quitting, but if you hold on, you will realize those were the very things shaping you into who you need to be. Think about it. Every successful person had a season where it didn't feel good. They were broke, lonely, overlooked, and doubted. They had nights where they wanted to throw it all away, but they kept pushing. That's what separates the dreamers from the doers, the willingness to endure the uncomfortable parts of the journey. Too many people quit because they mistake discomfort for failure. Just because it hurts doesn't mean you are on the wrong road. Pain is part of the process. When you feel that weight pressing down on you, that's the signal that you are building strength. When you are uncomfortable, it's because you are growing beyond your old limits. You have to train yourself to be okay with the stretching season. The path won't always look glamorous. It won't always feel rewarding in the moment. But if you can survive the discomfort, you will discover the strength that was hidden inside you all along. Discomfort has a way of revealing parts of you that you didn't even know were there. The road is narrow, the road is bumpy, and the road will test every ounce of your patience. But that's exactly what makes the destination so powerful. If you can stay on the path through the uncomfortable seasons, you will be ready to handle everything waiting for you when you finally arrive. Too many people throw away their progress because it doesn't look big enough. They think if it's not a giant leap, it doesn't matter. But the truth is, small steps still count. Every little move forward is building momentum, even if it doesn't feel like much right now. A seed doesn't turn into a tree overnight. It grows little by little, and that growth is still progress. Sometimes you look at your life and think, I'm not where I should be. You compare yourself to others who seem miles ahead, and you convince yourself that your small efforts aren't enough. But let me remind you, those people you are watching didn't get there overnight. They built their success step by step, brick by brick, decision by decision. Nobody skips the small steps. Every time you wake up and show up, that's a step. Every time you keep going, even when you don't feel like it, that's a step. Every time you choose discipline over comfort, that's a step. They may feel small in the moment, but add them up and you will see how far you have actually come. You are not standing still. You are moving, even if the pace feels slow. Think about walking up a mountain. If you keep staring at the peak, you will get overwhelmed because it looks so far away. But if you focus on one step at a time, before you know it, you will look back and realize you have climbed higher than you thought possible. Small steps don't just move you forward. They also keep you from burning out because they allow you to grow steadily. The danger is when you dismiss the little victories. You get so caught up waiting for the big breakthrough that you overlook the fact that you have already broken ground. Celebrate the small wins, finishing that task, saving that money, staying consistent for another day. That's progress. If you don't value the small steps, you won't respect the big ones when they come. Small steps also build habits. And habits are what carry you when motivation runs out. The little things you do daily, reading, practicing, preparing, staying consistent, those are the steps that create the version of you who can handle success when it finally arrives. Success doesn't come because of one big leap. It comes because you kept walking even when the steps felt too small to matter. So don't underestimate the power of steady movement. Don't beat yourself up for not moving as fast as you want. Progress is progress, no matter the size. As long as you are moving, you are building. And as long as you are building, you are closer than you were yesterday. Dreams sound exciting when you talk about them, but the path to reach them isn't built on excitement. It's built on discipline. Discipline is doing what needs to be done even when you don't feel like it. It's waking up when your body tells you to stay in bed. It's showing up when your emotions try to convince you to quit. Discipline is the bridge between vision and reality, and without it, the path falls apart. The truth is, motivation will not carry you every day. There will be mornings you wake up and feel inspired, but there will also be days you wake up empty. If you rely only on motivation, you will quit the moment it disappears. That's why discipline matters. Discipline keeps you moving when your feelings try to hold you hostage. Discipline requires sacrifice. It might mean cutting off distractions, saying no to certain people, or choosing the hard road when the easy one is right in front of you. That's not glamorous, and nobody claps for you when you are doing it. But those quiet sacrifices are what make the difference between people who dream and people who achieve. Every successful person you admire has one thing in common. They built habits that lined up with their vision. They didn't just talk about their goals. They created daily actions that moved them closer. That's what discipline looks like. Consistency in the small things that eventually lead to big results. Without discipline, dreams stay in your head. With discipline, they become your reality. There will be times when discipline feels lonely. While everyone else is out having fun, you are grinding. While others are resting, you are pushing. You will feel like you are missing out, but in reality, you are building what they will one day admire. The path doesn't reward the comfortable, it rewards the committed, and commitment is proven through discipline. Think about it like this. Talent can get you started, but discipline will keep you going. You might be gifted, you might have potential, but if you don't apply discipline, you will never reach the level you are capable of. Discipline is the difference between being average and becoming exceptional. It's the invisible work that nobody sees, but everybody eventually notices when the results show up. If you are serious about your path, you have got to train your mind and body to follow through even when it hurts. Discipline is uncomfortable, but it's also liberating because it frees you from being controlled by your moods and excuses. The more you practice discipline, the stronger you become, and the stronger you become, the smoother your path begins to unfold. People think that one day they are going to wake up and fear will be gone. They convince themselves, once I feel brave enough, then I'll start. But the truth is, fear never leaves. No matter how much success you achieve, no matter how strong you become, fear will always be standing at the edge of your path waiting for you. The question isn't whether fear shows up, it's whether you let it stop you. Fear has a way of disguising itself. Sometimes it shows up as procrastination. Sometimes it shows up as excuses. Sometimes it shows up as self-doubt. And because it wears so many masks, you start thinking those thoughts are true, when in reality, it's just fear trying to keep you where you are. Fear doesn't need to defeat you. It just needs to paralyze you long term. Enough so you don't move. The people you admire, the ones who are living boldly, they don't live without fear. They just learned how to move with it. They understood that fear is a natural response to stepping into the unknown, but they didn't wait for it to vanish. They walked forward, trembling, shaky, uncertain, but still moving. That's the difference. Courage isn't the absence of fear, it's action despite it. Think about how many opportunities fear has already stolen from you. The jobs you didn't apply for, the ideas you didn't share, the moments you stayed silent, all because fear whispered, what if you fail? What if they laugh? What if you are not enough? Fear will always give you a list of reasons to stay still, but staying still is the only way to guarantee nothing changes. The moment you accept that fear isn't going away, you stop waiting for perfect conditions. You stop delaying your dreams. You stop believing the lie that you have to feel ready. Nobody feels ready. Everyone who has ever done something great did it with fear in their chest and doubt in their mind. The difference is they refuse to bow down to it. Fear isn't a sign you are going the wrong way. It's confirmation you are stepping into something bigger than yourself. If it doesn't scare you, it's probably too small. The presence of fear usually means the opportunity is worth it. Instead of running from fear, you have to learn to face it and walk with it, because it's going to be there regardless. And here's the truth. Fear might always be there, but it doesn't get to lead. It can ride in the car, but it doesn't get to touch the wheel. You can acknowledge it, you can feel it, but you don't let it dictate your actions. The more you walk through fear, the more you realize it was never as powerful as it pretended to be. One of the hardest life lessons is realizing that everything doesn't happen when you want it to. You can pray, you can plan, you can prepare, but life still moves on its own schedule. And that's where most people lose their patience. They want everything right now. They want the dream to unfold immediately, the breakthrough to happen instantly, the success to appear overnight. But the truth is, timing is everything, and if you rush it, you ruin it. There's a reason you don't get certain blessings when you ask for them. It's not because you are unworthy, it's because you are not ready yet. If the door opened too soon, you wouldn't have the strength to handle what comes with it. Sometimes the delay is protection. Sometimes the delay is preparation. Sometimes the delay is teaching you the discipline, the patience, the resilience you are going to need when the opportunity finally shows up. Think about it. If you got everything you prayed for when you asked for it, would you have been able to manage it? You probably would have fumbled it because you weren't mature enough yet. That relationship you thought you wanted so bad, if it had worked out, it would have broken you. That job you thought was perfect, it would have crushed you. That dream you were so desperate for, it would have overwhelmed you. Timing matters because growth takes time and strength is built in the waiting. The waiting season is where most people quit because they mistake silence for abandonment. They think nothing is happening, but in reality, everything is happening behind the scenes. Just because you can't see the progress doesn't mean it's not unfolding. A seed doesn't sprout the moment it's planted. It takes time underground where nobody can see it before it pushes through the soil. That's how your life works too. The key is trusting that when the time is right, everything will align. You don't have to Ace what's meant for you, because when it's ready and when you are ready, it will meet you at the perfect moment. And the best part is when it finally happens, you will realize why the wait was necessary. You will see how every delay shaped you, how every setback positioned you, how every not yet prepared you for the right yes. Trusting the timing doesn't mean sitting back and doing nothing. It means working hard, staying faithful, showing up every day, even when it feels like nothing is moving. It means being consistent in the dark so that when the light finally hits, you are ready to step into it fully. Timing doesn't reward the lazy, it rewards the prepared. When you learn to trust the timing, you stop comparing yourself to everyone else. You stop panicking when things don't move as fast as you expected. You start living with peace instead of pressure because you know that what's meant for you will never pass you by. One of the biggest misconceptions about success is that it follows a straight line. People think you start at point A, work hard, and arrive at point B without interruption. But life doesn't work that way. Your path is not linear. It zigzags, it loops, it twists, and it tests you in ways you never anticipated. The moment you accept that, you stop being frustrated when things don't go according to plan. You are going to take 2 steps forward and 1 step back. Sometimes you will feel like you are spinning in circles. But those circles aren't wasted. They are shaping you. They are teaching you lessons, building your patience, and strengthening your resolve. If everything went smoothly, you'd never develop the resilience necessary to handle real success. Setbacks are not detours from the path. They are part of it. Every closed door, every failed attempt, every moment of doubt is a piece of the journey. People who quit at the first sign of trouble fight. Or to realize that the path curves for a reason. Those twists are what prepare you to handle the bigger victories ahead. Your path may also intersect with other paths, some of which may slow you down or confuse you. Relationships, career changes, unexpected opportunities, they all come in ways you can't predict. But those intersections aren't accidents. They are lessons. They teach you discernment, patience, and how to adjust your course without losing sight of your destination. Expecting a straight line will only make you anxious and impatient. You will see someone else's journey and think they are moving faster, and you will convince yourself you are falling behind. But progress isn't measured by the path of others. It's measured by your own movement, your own growth, and your own ability to navigate the twists and turns. The nonlinear path also tests your faith. You may wonder why things aren't happening faster or why doors keep closing. But the truth is, life isn't meant to be predictable. Your path is custom designed to stretch you, challenge you, and prepare you. Every loop, every curve, every obstacle is strategically placed to shape you for what's next. When you start embracing the nonlinear nature of your journey, you stop fighting the process. You start learning from every turn. You start recognizing that delays, detours, and challenges are not setbacks. They are setups. The path isn't straight, but it's still moving you exactly where you are supposed to be. Too many people spend their energy trying to justify their choices to everyone around them. You make a decision, follow your dream, or pursue your purpose, and suddenly you feel like you have to explain why you are doing it. But the truth is, you don't owe anyone an explanation. Your life is yours, and your vision was given to you, not to them. When you constantly explain yourself, you give away your power. You let other people's opinions start shaping your decisions. You start second-guessing your steps because someone else. He doesn't understand your timing, your struggles, or your purpose. But your path is not theirs to validate. The moment you stop explaining yourself, you reclaim control over your own journey. People are going to have opinions regardless of what you do. Some will doubt, some will judge, and some will criticize. That's life. But their voices only have the power you give them. You can listen, you can learn if it's constructive, but you cannot let the constant need to defend yourself distract you from your purpose. The more you explain, the more you dilute your focus. Your energy is limited, and you cannot afford to spend it justifying why you are doing what you are doing. Every second you waste trying to make others understand is a second you are not investing in walking the path that's been set for you. Focus on your work, your growth, and your progress, and let the results speak for themselves. You also have to realize that not everyone will ever see your vision the way you see it. Some people's minds are too small, too limited, or too stuck in their own patterns to understand what you are doing. That's not a reflection of your path. It's a reflection of their perspective. Stop shrinking yourself to fit someone else's understanding. Sometimes stopping the explanations is also an act of faith. It's saying, I trust the process, I trust my vision, I trust my journey, even if nobody else sees it yet. When you let go of the need for validation, you free yourself to take bold steps without fear of judgment, without hesitation, and without apology. The people who truly matter, the ones who are meant to support you, will recognize your authenticity and commitment without needing an explanation. And the ones who don't, their opinions don't matter because their approval was never required for you to walk your path. Too many people settle for small dreams because they are afraid to aim higher. They look at what they have, compare it to what they want, and convince themselves that big visions are unrealistic. But the truth is, God or the universe never meant for you to play small. Your capacity is bigger than your comfort zone, and your potential is far beyond what you currently believe. Believing bigger starts with your mindset. You have got to see yourself operating at a level you have never reached before. You have got to envision the life you want, even if it feels uncomfortable, even if it seems impossible. Belief isn't about the evidence in front of you. It's about the conviction in your heart that something greater is waiting. When you believe bigger, you take bigger actions. You step out of the tiny box you have been living in. You stop playing safe, stop settling for mediocrity, and start reaching for what challenges you. Small belief creates small results. Big belief creates breakthroughs. If you want results that change your life, you have to think bigger than you ever have. The challenge is that believing bigger feels scary. It feels risky. It feels like stepping into the unknown. That's exactly why it works. Fear is often a sign that you are about to grow. When your dream starts to feel too big for you, that's the moment to lean into it, not step back. Courage and belief are partners. They push each other forward. Believing bigger also shifts your energy. When your vision expands, your mind starts looking for solutions instead of excuses. You begin to see opportunities that you never noticed before. People who believe small see obstacles, while people who believe bigger see paths. The bigger your belief, the broader your perspective, and the more unstoppable your progress becomes. Another key part of believing bigger is refusing to limit yourself based on your past. Your history, your failures, your mistakes, they don't define what's possible. If you let your past dictate your future, you will never reach your true potential. But if you decide to believe bigger than your history, your past becomes nothing more than a lesson, a tool to prepare you for something greater. Believing bigger isn't about arrogance, it's about alignment. It's understanding that the gift inside you, the dream in your heart, and the purpose you carry require a level of belief that surpasses fear, doubt, and comfort. When you commit to believing bigger, you start walking in the life that was always meant for you, and everything else begins to catch up with your vision. Every dream, every vision, every goal comes with a price. You can't have the life you want without giving something up. Too many people want success, but they are not willing to pay the cost. Sacrifice is the currency of achievement, and if you are not ready to invest it, you will remain stuck where you are. Sacrifice comes in many forms. It might be your time, your comfort, your social life, or even your relationships that don't align with your purpose. You will have to say no to things you want now so you can say yes to what you need later. The choices you make today determine the results you see tomorrow, and the price of those results is always sacrifice. The challenge is that sacrifice is uncomfortable. You will feel lonely when everyone else is relaxing. You will feel tired when everyone else is resting. You will feel uncertain when others seem to have it easy. But that discomfort is temporary, and it's shaping you for long-term success. Every discomfort you endure today is an investment in your future. Some sacrifices are invisible to others. People won't see the hours you stay up learning, the work you do behind the scenes, or the moments you push yourself beyond what feels safe. and that's okay. Sacrifice doesn't need applause. It's a personal commitment to your vision, a silent agreement that you will do whatever it takes to get where you are going. You will also realize that sacrifice is not just about giving up. It's about prioritizing. It's choosing the things that matter most over the easy things. It's understanding that you can't chase every opportunity, every desire, every distraction, and still expect to succeed. Your focus is limited, and sacrifice helps you use it wisely. The people who achieve greatness understand this principle. They consistently make tough choices that most people won't. They delay gratification, resist temptation, and embrace discomfort. That's why they reach heights others only dream about. Sacrifice separates the ordinary from the extraordinary, the dreamers from the doers. You have to embrace sacrifice as a sign that you are serious about your path. Every time you give something up, you prove to yourself that your dream matters more than temporary comfort. The price is steep, but the reward is life-changing. And the sooner you accept that, the sooner you start walking in the level of success you were created for. When you decide to walk the path that's meant for you, don't be surprised if it feels lonely at times. The higher you aim, the fewer people will understand your journey. Your dreams, your vision, your purpose, they won't always fit into the boxes others are comfortable with. And that's why the path often isolates those who are serious about achieving it. Isolation doesn't mean you are doing something wrong. It means you are doing something right. When you are stepping into greatness, there will always be people who can't rock. Elate, people who doubt, and people who try to pull you back into comfort. The moment you feel misunderstood or alone, remember, it's a sign that you are moving forward while others are standing still. The path isolates you because it forces you to rely on yourself. You can't depend on others to validate your vision, cheer you on at every step, or carry you when it gets hard. Isolation teaches you self-reliance, strength, and resilience. It forces you to look inward, trust your instincts, and build confidence in your own abilities. You will also notice that as your path progresses, some relationships will fade. That's normal. Not everyone is meant to walk with you to the finish line. Some people may love you, but they won't understand the demands of your journey. Accepting that early on prevents disappointment and allows you to focus on those who are truly aligned with your growth. Isolation also gives you space to grow without distraction. While others are busy trying to influence or control you, your quiet moments alone are shaping your mind, your skills, and your spirit. Some of the most powerful transformations happen in solitude because it forces you to face yourself and refine the vision in your heart. The challenge is handling isolation without letting it turn into discouragement. Loneliness can be heavy and doubt can creep in when there's no one to echo your vision. That's why your relationship with your purpose must be stronger than your need for validation. When your connection to your dream is deep, isolation becomes an ally, not a curse. Isolation is temporary, but the results it produces are lasting. The people who walk alone today are the ones who will stand tall tomorrow. The struggle of being misunderstood, doubted, or overlooked only strengthens your resolve, sharpens your focus, and prepares you to fully embrace the life that's waiting for you at the end of your path. Too often people get so focused on the destination that they forget to acknowledge how far they have come. You are so busy chasing the next goal, the next milestone, the next big achievement that you overlook the progress you have already made. Celebrating your progress is not arrogance. It's recognition of the effort, persistence, and resilience you have shown along the way. Progress is proof that your actions are working, even if the results aren't fully visible yet. Every step forward, no matter how small, is a victory. Paying attention to these moments reminds you that you are moving in the right direction. It keeps your motivation alive and your confidence growing. Celebrating your progress also reinforces your habits. When you take a moment to recognize your wins, it creates a positive feedback loop. You see the results of your dedication, and that energy fuels you to keep pushing. Without celebration, even the most consistent efforts can feel meaningless, and that's when people give up. Sometimes progress isn't about huge milestones. It's about showing up when you didn't want to, making a better choice than yesterday, learning from a failure, or resisting a temptation. Those small victories accumulate, and over time, they transform your life. Celebrating them keeps you aware of the power of incremental growth. Acknowledging your progress doesn't mean you stop striving. It means you pause long enough to remind yourself that you are capable, that you are moving forward, and that your efforts are paying off. It gives you the energy to tackle the next challenge with renewed focus and determination. It's also a mindset. Celebrating your progress helps you cultivate gratitude for your own journey. You begin to see that the struggles, setbacks, and sacrifices are part of a bigger picture, and each small win is a building block that shapes your character and prepares you for greater victories. When you celebrate progress, you inspire yourself and others. Your acknowledgement of growth becomes a signal that effort matters, that perseverance is powerful, and that the journey itself is worth honoring. It reminds you that every step, every struggle, and every small win brings you closer to the life you are meant to live. One of the biggest lies we tell ourselves is that a failure means we're not enough. You try, you fall short, you make mistakes, and suddenly you start labeling yourself as incapable. But failure is not a verdict on your worth. It's a part of the process. It's a lesson, a redirection, and sometimes the very thing that prepares you for success. Failures are proof that you are trying. Every time you take action and it doesn't go as planned, it's evidence that you are stepping outside your comfort zone. Nobody succeeds without risking failure, and nobody grows without it. The fact that you failed means you dared to attempt something bigger than you were yesterday. The key is how you respond to failure. You can either let it stop you, let it define you, and keep you stuck, or you can let it teach you, refine you, and strengthen you. The most successful people don't have a perfect record. They have persistence, resilience, and the ability to learn from every setback. Failure also exposes what needs improvement. It shines a light on your weaknesses, your blind spots, and your areas that require growth. Without it, you might never see where you need to focus your energy, and you might continue repeating the same mistakes over and over. Failure is feedback, not a condemnation. Sometimes failure hurts more than we expect. It can be embarrassing, disappointing, or even crushing. But the pain is temporary and the lessons are permanent. The moment you allow failure to break your spirit is the moment you let it win. But if you see it as a stepping stone, it becomes fuel to keep going. Remember that your failures do not erase your potential. They do not cancel your talent, your purpose, or your calling. Every failure carries a lesson, a revelation, and an opportunity to come back stronger. It's a tool in your journey, not a barrier to your success. Failure is a sign that you are moving, that you are taking risks, and that you are not content with mediocrity. It is part of the path to greatness, and when you embrace it, learn from it, and keep walking, you realize that no failure can define who you are unless you let it. Your vision is the blueprint of your destiny, and if you don't nurture it, it can wither. Life is full of distractions, doubts, and setbacks that try to steal your focus. If you let those things dominate your mind, your vision fades, and your purpose gets buried under noise. Keeping your vision alive means protecting it daily, feeding it with belief, and refusing to let temporary circumstances dim it. A vision isn't just a dream you think about. It's a reality you prepare for. That preparation requires consistent action, even when it's inconvenient, uncomfortable, or unnoticed. Every choice you make, every hour you invest, and every effort you put in is a spark that keeps your vision burning bright. Without these sparks, the fire dies out and dreams remain just ideas. Keeping your vision alive also means guarding it from negativity. There will always be people who tell you it's impossible, who question your choices, or who don't understand your purpose. Protect your vision from their doubts. Listen to advice that builds you, but never surrender your belief because someone else cannot see what you see. You have to remind yourself daily why your vision matters. Write it down, speak it aloud, meditate on it, and imagine it as if it's already real. The more you connect emotionally with your vision, the more energy you give it to grow. Vision that is forgotten or ignored cannot carry you forward. A vision that is alive motivates you to take action no matter how hard it gets. Challenges will come, and at times it will feel easier to let go. Life will test your commitment by creating obstacles that seem overwhelming. But those tests are not meant to discourage you. They are meant to see if your vision is strong enough to survive and strong enough to drive you to the next level. Every challenge is an opportunity to prove that your vision matters more than comfort. Keeping your vision alive also inspires those around you. When people see your persistence, your focus, and your unwavering belief, they start believing in possibilities they didn't think were achievable. Your vision becomes contagious, a beacon for others, and a reminder that greatness is born from determination and clarity of purpose. Your vision is your responsibility. It will not survive on hope alone or on the validation of others. You must water it with faith, fuel it with effort, and protect it with discipline. The longer you keep it alive, the closer it brings you to the life you were meant to create, and the more unstoppable you become in walking your path. It's easy to get caught up in the grind, focusing only on what's next, what's missing, or